doing today? And welcome to Do Something for the Kids Incorporated, the podcast. I'm your host, Ernest T. Brown, as well as my co-host, Mr. Shantario Stevens.
How everybody doing?
Today, we come to you with a lovely guest, one of our college classmates, a lady that really, it's going to be hard for me to explain who she is. I'm going to let her talk about herself a little bit. But she comes with a lot of compassion, a lot of strength, well-rounded, very educated, very accomplished young lady, very compassionate for the youth and for people. Miss Margie Mclean, how you doing today?
Hey, young world. How y'all doing? Thank you for having me.
We greatly appreciate you coming in from your busy schedule. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, my name is Margie Mclean. I'm the president and founder of the Margie Mclean Foundation. The purpose of the organization is to build future leaders in the 21st century, also to help at-risk kids and their families as well. I'm also a business owner of Chemistry Fashion Boutique, where we sell items that relate to those of color, those of African descent. And also I am a singer. I'm a teacher, 17 years in the fields, 8th grade and 7th grade science, but I've also taught high school as well.
She's actually playing with y'all. She has another list of accolades that she doesn't want to tell y'all about. But I'm going to boost her up every time I see her, because this lady is a wonderful person that helped me out a lot in college. AASO is when I first met her. And the crazy part is the African American Student Association breeded a lot of great people. I can't even remember everybody's name. And I think that's partly why I got you here today, Margie, because like looking back at those things from back in the day, college now versus college then. As a teacher, do you see a big difference in the students coming out today and as they're trying to head to college?
Yes, I do. I see a huge difference. I think it's based on the education system then versus now. I know we see that on Facebook, then versus now. Maybe that's what we need to do, education then and now. But I think we was taught, instilled in us pride, and the pride of being educated. The teachers taught us things that would relate to us. I think with the system now, we are more kind of like a manufacturing company. We're college and career ready, but the kids that are leaving are not college and career ready. So a lot of them are coming to the colleges and they have deficiencies, whether it be math, whether it be reading, whether it be science. Mentally, they are not ready as well. We're not preparing them for life. We prepare them to pass the EOC and the EOG, and that's for school purposes, for the data, but we're not preparing them for the college life and being independent on their own. So a lot of the kids are falling through the cracks when they get to college. They end up dropping out, saying they can't handle it, just go and work. And that's the difference between, I think, college now and college then.
I really got a lot I could say on that, but to be honest with you, hit everything on the head. I'm kind of speechless because I ask that question a lot because me and Shantario talk about it a lot. Because that's the main thing that we're about here. We're trying to rebuild that needed village that these kids need to help them grow, to help them understand. Like, I know you remember, Sean remember. We kind of come from the different world days where everything in our music, everything talked about going to college. Even Wu-Tang. A lot of people don't realize they told you some high level educated information. Physics, chemistry. They talked about that within their rhymes. And so like you're trying to mimic these words, messing them up. Don't know you're talking about something educational.
Right.
And so every show you saw had on either HBCU or some college paraphernalia on. And so it's kind of like, I'm not going to say brainwashed, but it was kind of like subliminally planted in your mind. That's where you need to be. See, now it's like, it's a whole different thing. The subliminal plan is, oh, you need to do this or you need to do that. I hardly ever see anybody say, go this way or get this type of education. So like, you know, I mean, Sean, what you think? Like, from an education standpoint, how else can we help these kids today?
Well, I think educationally we need to do the thing. We have things like Marty said to help them with preparing with college, other than education sometimes. I mean, the interaction with others. Those are things that kids don't do now because they're on their phones and they're texting and, you know, it's FaceTime, but that's not face-to-face interaction. You know, so when it comes time for interviews or doing a presentation or things of that sort, it's hard for them to get up and do because they're not utilizing it as much, I would say. You know, and with education, also it's something where we need to bring in parents. Like, kids, yes, we can get to them, but bringing the parents in and helping them see that let's build this bridge to them getting further. Let's let them see that it's more to this than this, you know, where we at right now. I remember with me in education, yes, my mom pushed me, but I also said early on that I'm going to get out of here and do something. And she kept me to it. Even when I was trying to give up with it, she was like, no, you said you was going to do it, so you're going to stay on that path. And we're missing that as well, because not only did she say that, my grandmother pushed it, my uncles and them, my brother. You know, now people not really pushing you towards that education. They're pushing you towards being popular or doing what everyone else is doing, you know, which is not, I'm not going to say it's not education all the time, but it's not sometimes, you know, and now, and that's where it needs to be. You know, sort of like everybody in the village help pushing you there. I think that will help with education. If we have more people behind you and more resources.
Well, let's think about it. If we really want to get deep about it, the kids now are parents are the parents who had them at 16, 17, 15. How are they going to teach these kids? So if they don't have the education, you know, a lot of them maybe dropped out or whatever, you know, if you think about the kids now, so a lot of these kids, their parents was young, so they probably party with their parents or what so have you. You don't have it where grandma kept the kid while you go and do what you need to do. Grandma was there to handle, like when I was growing up. You know, my mother had me young. My grandmother was there. We was in the house. So my grandma taught me a lot of old school ways. My mother came in and she took me the rest of the way. You also had a village where you can go to the barber shop and you had the barber, or even if you had the guy who was just hanging on the corner, drinking his beer with us, he'd be like, young blood, you need to go get out of here. Get out. Don't do like I did. You know, he would give you that advice and he would be pushing you. If he see you out on doing something he shouldn't do, even though he was doing it, he's going to tell you, get on out of here. I'm going to tell your mama, he either beat your butt and send you on. And that was something that we had. We don't have that anymore. And so we don't have that advice. Everybody's about themselves now. Everybody's selfish. We in the selfish age, the selfish era. I'm going to get mine and that's it. Even the parents, like we can't even, it used to be a time where if I get in trouble in the neighborhood, the people in the neighborhood is going to tell my parents before I even get there. We don't have that now. Don't touch my kids. Don't do nothing. Don't say nothing to my kids. So your kids running wild and rapid and what so have you. Now, I'm still that type that if I see your kid doing something, I'm going to give him a look. I'm going to say something. You get mad, it is what it is, okay? But we don't have that anymore. And so our kids haven't been, the kids now, high school kids, they haven't really been taught those standards because they didn't have nobody to teach it to them. So part of it is society. And we have gotten to the point now that we cannot do anything to the kids. So it's just so much to kind of wrap your mind around why our kids are failing. You can't, punish your kids now. Now the kids can call 911. Parents are scared. We got parents locking themselves in their own house, afraid of their kids. We ain't grow up in no era like that.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
One bit.
You lock your door if you want to. They slamming doors and stuff. Mom and them gonna take the door off the hinge. That's it. You don't pay no bills in here. And so now the kids are ruling. And they are almost about to be a lost cause, a lost generation, because no one is able to guide them of where they need to go.
And that's why I made that sound when you was talking, because it was like, ooh, it hit it on the head. Because like, I talk about this often, and people look at me crazy because I'm like, we have to rebuild this village, you know, because that's the village I came from. And I'm not going to say I was perfect, but I do remember that if you did wrong or you wanted to go out here and do wrong, that village taught you that wrong. Even though it was bad, they taught you how to maneuver in that wrong and not get caught up in that wrong. But at the same time, when they were allowing you to do this wrong, they stopped you from doing this wrong. And so, you know, just piggybacking on a couple of things that you said, but the main point I heard and I look at all the time is like, you can't do nothing. The kid won. The kid has all the rights. And, you know, like Sean could tell you all the time, I'm like, how can we stop that particular setup? I mean, I understand, and I'm all for the kids having more rights and having more understanding, because I was that kid that was bad. I was that kid that gave, excuse my French, hell to people, but I knew respect. And see, that's the whole thing. It's like, I don't see respect no more.
Nope.
You know, I don't care if it was your mama. If I saw it, I might cuss my mama out, but I would never cuss your mama out. Now you see the opposite. Or you see both. Like, I don't give a care who you are. And the sad part is, like, you know, when you're looking at the school system for it now, like, and you're trying to educate this child. How can you educate this child when they're coming in already unruly? They're telling you, well, you got to get them ruly. And I know this from, you know, my previous work background in mental health. It's hard for that teacher. It's hard for that paraprofessional. It's hard for that qualified professional. It's hard for that therapist. It's hard for that whole village that they're trying to put together to get across to these kids. I used to speak like this. It was a 4-pronged job. It was school, parent and child, agency, and the governing body that will allow the agency to provide services. And I'm speaking from this aspect because, simply put, if you look at it, not labeling anybody, and please, nobody don't come at me thinking I'm labeling kids. I'm not. I'm saying this from working with kids in general. We all got ADHD to some point, you know, and that's a scientific fact. And if you want to dispute me, fine. I don't mind being wrong. But at the end of the day, when you come out and look at these kids nowadays that's coming up, and they had this particular set of people to help them. I mean, we coming up, we didn't have one person. If grandma went on your side, and matter of fact, even if grandma's on your side, every single person in your neighborhood had a chance to whip you before you got home. And then you got another 2, depending on your parents. It's rough, y'all. It's rough. Because that's the main thing that I'm glad I brought you on the show today, because if y'all haven't heard it, I know me and Shantario heard it. That's motivation coming out of Miss Margie mouth today, because she cares. And that's why I've asked her to come on the show, because if we're going to be able to build this community again, we need people with her compassion, her strength. It can't just be a one-person job. It has to be everybody banding together to help these individuals. And so I'm going to ask this question, even though you already told me. What is your motivation, Miss Margie? What's your motivation in life that has gotten you to the point of where you at now, to even start the organization that you have, and the type of work that you do?
Well, I started a group called, co-started, I guess you can say, co-founded a group called Ladies Equality when I was at Terry Sanford High School. 1992, 10th grade year, they had a group called GQ, Gentlemen Qualified. So, you know, the ladies said, we want to start something. So we did that. And so, you know, we got in the community doing different things. It was pretty much like a sorority fraternity type thing. You know, we didn't understand. When I left, I started working, 2004, started working at St. Paul's High School. And I saw that they really needed some of the things that the girls was going through, and I could see that they had no mentoring in that school or in that area. And so I just asked the principal, can I bring this group in? Can I do a Ladies Equality here? And I did. I had about 30 girls. And just to get them out of St. Paul's, just to go to Fayetteville, you know, you grew up in St. Paul's, Fayetteville, it's like New York. You know, so we did a lot of things. I taught them etiquette, bought them all etiquette books. We would talk about that. We did community service. We even came up. We had I think it was a program here that had like a teen pregnancy home here. We came up and we did things for that. And from there, some of my kids graduated with the Fayetteville State, joined other organizations, and a student came back and told me she was glad that I taught her how to be a leader in the group, because she knows now how to run a meeting where a lot of the girls in there didn't know how to do it. So I taught them everything. Robert's Rules of Order. This is how you run a meeting. This is how you make a motion, blah, blah, blah. So from there, it was like, you need to keep this going. So when I left St. Paul's, went to Fairmont, I went up to Virginia and taught, and I did it up there. And a lot of these girls, I still talk to my babies. But it just made a difference in their life because they didn't have anybody like that. A lot of my kids up north was like mostly African kids. So, Africans, they just like, let's education, that's it. But for them to be able to express themselves in a way where they can help other people, they can show their talent. We talk to them about, hey, what is it that you really like to do? If you don't want to be a doctor, what else could you like to do? And it just helped them and motivated them. And then the parents came out and saw, like, we did like induction ceremony and things like that. And the parents had never seen anything like that before. So then I started getting parents cooking and things like that and open up their homes who normally don't. And so that was my motivation in bringing the parents and the child together where they can really talk and understand each other. Now, my motivation now is the fact that we are losing our kids educationally. Somebody has to be there for them, and it's not enough programs in the community for these kids. These kids are dropping out, they're dying. The parents don't, like you said, don't know what to do. On the news, you're seeing more and more parents now that we quarantine who are abusing, if not killing their children. Somebody need to be able to help them because they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So,
and I just want to commend you because I'm from St. Paul's.
Yeah.
And I grew up there my whole life, and so I understand, that it's needed. And to this day, it's still needed.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do. Like, I don't stay in St. Paul's, but I do try to go back, and speak and talk to kids and do things like that. I've always said to myself, when I was in school, how do we change this? And leaving and going to college, which wasn't far, which is the Pembroke, went to Central too. A lot of people went to college and left and then think about coming back home. But the way that we change it is we not saying we got to stay there, but if we don't go back and see those kids and talk to those parents that we went to school with, then who else is going to care about us? Our community is our community. I mean, we was there, we grew up in it, so we know what's needed. But if we run and take it somewhere else, and not saying that we run and take it somewhere else, because sometimes it helps you, but why keep it there? Why not bring a portion of it back home then, just to let them see that you can make it out here. You can, just strive and do what you want to do, and you don't have to just keep following this, let's say, generational cycle and just, and staying here and staying amongst people who are like that crab in the barrel. Yeah, they see you getting out, but they don't want you to get further than them. But with me and Trav, and I know you, if we have something, we're going to share it. So.
But it's not their fault. You cannot expect a child to want to do if they don't see it. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, if I don't know that outside of St. Paul's there's a bigger world, because I ain't never been out of St. Paul's, then I don't know what to look for. So if they don't have someone to show them something different, because I had students who said, my parents on the system, so I'm gonna stay on the system. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stay with my parents. They don't know that you can do other things, and don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with getting help on the system. My mom was the same way. She worked her way off, blah blah blah, whatever. So, and I'm not trying to down anybody that's on the system. I've been on the system as a kid. What I'm saying is, you have to have someone to come in and show them a bigger light. And something different. And so with some of those kids, I had kids who we did college tours. Freeman High School in Woodbridge, North Carolina. I started doing college tours with them. We went everywhere. Anytime they had a open house, we going. One of my kids graduated from Virginia State And she came back. She said thank you because neither one of my parents went to college, so I never even thought about going to college. Neither one of my parents went. And she said, because I went up here, we went to Norfolk State. She said, because I went and saw something, now I got this mind, I want to go. She graduated, became a Zeta. God bless.
Hey.
I went and supported her when she crossed, when her probate was. But two of my kids actually pledged Zeta, and but both of them, their parents never went to college, and they didn't know. They never saw it. Parents didn't know. My parents the same way. The only reason why I went to college, one, is because one, I lived across the street from Fayetteville State, so I just wanted to go. Two is because a different world. Mm-hmm. How many of us want to go to Hillman until we found out Hillman wasn't a real college? I just wanted to go because I was like, dang, they ain't never at school. They have fun, so I want to go to college. So I went across the street, and that was only because my dad told me to. He wouldn't let me go to Winston, but Winston-Salem. So so that I had that to see, because my dad had an 8th grade education, but he pushed me to read. I had to read. I didn't know how to tell time on the regular clock. I could not do anything until I told him time. That's just how he was. He didn't have the education, but he was going to make sure I had it. My multiplications, whenever we go out, he had a business where he did tires and stuff. And so I rode with him in the summer. I could not go out and play until I did my multiplications. And if I didn't get them right, you go back in there. And he made me learn. And so I had that. We don't have that anymore.
And that's the saddest part, because, like, how do we get to this point? Mm-hmm. And I ask that question every day, because it's like,
I'm going to start something, but go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
I don't have no problem. With that.
It might make the audience mad if you.
Hey, listen, this is your show while you here. You with me, Miss Margie. You can do what you want to do on this show. I have no problem, because this is what people need to hear. And I think we got to quit being afraid of not telling people this stuff. Like, because that's the point I've gotten to. Like, I don't care if you care. I care.
Yeah.
Because I'm quick to tell people, like, I raised over 100 some kids. It's not my own.
Yeah.
And they look at me like, how'd you do that? Like, the kids I had working in mental health, they were my kids. Mm-hmm. In order for me to do this job, I had to care.
Yeah.
If I didn't care, I'm not coming to the job. Mm-hmm. It's not worth it. I don't care how much money you pay me. Mm-hmm. It wasn't worth it, so I cared. And so, like, I worked for several companies that allowed me, but one in particular that allowed me to be me. And when they allowed me to be me, we made change.
Yeah.
So, like, and the funny thing is for me, like, and you was talking about what we have lost. I actually... And this is weird. It's not really weird, but I say it's weird because I literally try to do this. I try to find every teacher I ever had and thank them. Mm-hmm. Even the ones that I was never in their class. 'Cause I shot the lady one day. We was in the DMV or we was in a store, and I saw her. And I walked up to her. I said, "Hey, ma'am, I was never in your class, but thank you." She looked at me like, "What you thanking me for?" I said, "You don't realize, like, as a kid, I was watching you and how you conducted yourself. And, like, if you look at your teachers back then, they are you now."
Yeah.
It's funny because, like, I really, like, want to go up to a lot of them and say, "Man, I really get how you was back then." Because you can see it now. I mean, we can't say how they were or how they won't, because technically we weren't supposed to know.
Yeah.
But as an adult, you're like, okay, I see that stress on your face. Mm-hmm. I see why you come in here mad at times. But you never was mad totally at us. You showed us love. Yeah. The madness was like, I'm mad because y'all are not trying to get it, and this world is harsh out here.
Yeah.
And so as we continue to go and as we continue to grow, it's like, what are we going to do to help these people help each other get it? And so I commend you, because, like, I don't even have to really ask. You're just telling me everything. You know what I'm saying? I commend you because I need to hear that. Yeah. The people need to hear that, because this is why we created this podcast, because we was like, COVID hit. How are we going to get people the information? We can't come to you directly. Mm-hmm. Like Sean could tell you, I gave out stuff literally. and I've been giving out since I started this company, 2019, last part 2019. I haven't told too many people. I just come up to you randomly and give out.
Yeah.
And so I think the first thing we gave out was like Easter stuff with McDonald's cards.
Okay.
So like we got to the point this Christmas, we was over there by Fellow State, and I remember it clear as day, and I'm going to say this because it relates to what's going on. I saw an old school parent. She was struggling. And I'm not saying she was struggling, I don't know, but she was so thankful what she got that I took back what I gave her. Now I'm gonna tell y'all what I did. She was so thankful what she got, I took back what I gave her. I gave this lady a card with a $5 McDonald's card. My kid that gave it to her, she looked at him and said, "Thank you, baby, so much," and hugged him so tight that it made him feel good about what he was doing. We stopped her. She asked us what the organization was about, why we're doing it. We just showed up to help. We didn't care. We helping whoever was out there. Yeah. Because it's Christmas time. And so we put everything in toboggans. And the toboggans that we gave out, a lot of people just grabbed them. Oh, okay, thank you for toboggan. Dig in the toboggan. Because there also was some with cards, $20 gift cards in there. Not gift cards, debit cards in there. And so I grabbed the McDonald's card back from the lady and gave her the $20 gift card. She got more emotional, more happy. I said, "Ma'am, I tell you what, give me back the toboggan." And so listen, y'all, I took back what I gave her, and I gave her a do something for the kids shirt. She looked at me and was like, "Just thank you. Who are y'all?" Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, "Ma'am, only thing we ask you to do is just help the next person." And so like, yeah, I'm giving you accolades, and like I told Abdul last week, I'm giving you flowers now. So thank you, Miss Margie, because you don't realize, like, the more I'm hearing these stories, is why I used to admire you so much, you know, when we was in college, because it was like, what's so special about this lady? You know, we don't like them people from Fayetteville. You know, hey, inside joke, y'all. I mean, we love Fayetteville. Inside joke, because when you went to UNC Pembroke, hey, I'm sorry, 71st, but y'all were rough, man. It was hard to get along with y'all people, but y'all was cool. But you had to learn different cultures, different people, and Pembroke was about that. So it's like that's where the village started for me, because I learned so much my freshman year. It was ridiculous. And so like when you're talking about, you know, sending these kids on tours and taking them on tours, it's like, man, if we was happy to go to A&T. And really, we only happy to go to A&T to visit, to learn how to go to school. We happy to go to the party. That's what made us want to go to A&T. and see, I tell my kids like this, are like, if you don't want to go to college, that's fine. Because we're in an untraditional way of age or life right now. I'm okay with that. But if you don't know what you want to do in life, go to college. Go with college. Be there. Because you're going to eventually figure out something. But if you know what you're trying to do, you aiming, and you have people like you or Mr. Stevens over here, including myself or everybody that's around, trying to teach you something, you picking up on it, go do that. Go ahead and do that, because education is universal. You know, and so like, thank you. I mean, next time I have to bring her some real flowers, because she can give me that look like, you give me flowers, but you ain't give me no flowers on this show yet.
I want a $20 gift card.
I tell you what, I'm gonna say it on the show today, so y'all can get me. Miss Margie, your next function, I'm going to show up with a $20 gift card for you. On top of that, pick me 5 girls. Okay. And I will show up with something more than $20 for each girl.
I'll do that. Thank you.
You're welcome, because I'm really trying to give back. And I'm going to say this, you know, real quick. The reason I'm trying to give back is somebody gave to me. And honestly, y'all, you know, I'm giving her some more flowers. I'm giving Steven some flowers too. You know, but real talk, Miss Margie, you didn't hesitate when I asked you to come. You said two things. Let me check my calendar, and I'll get back with you. The funny thing, y'all, I did not look at her message right away, and I thought she forgot about me. So when I went back to it said, I'm available. And I hurried up and said, gotcha, locked in. Because I was so excited because y'all don't realize this village I'm trying to build has unique people. We're all unique. And in order for me to fully give you all what you need, I need people that's willing to extend beyond their time, beyond their knowledge, beyond their thought process in order to help you extend past that. Because in order for us to get to where we at today, because the funny thing I thought about riding up here, y'all, today, did we ever think we'd be sitting here in 2000, 1999, 2000, 2001?
No.
We'd be sitting here talking about the yesteryears of college at a podcast that we all are a part of.
No.
Like, honestly, anybody knew me, and I'm going to tell y'all my nickname scheme. Nobody at UNC Pembroke thought this was what I'd be doing, nor helping kids. As a matter of fact, when I graduated in 2004, people's mouths dropped as I was walking across the stage. And it was funny to me because I was like, man, y'all must didn't know. I was studying a little bit. I joked, I played, but I was going to get out of here because I knew there was something that was given to me here that I had to give back to somebody at a future date.
Yeah.
And here we are today. Thank you, Miss Margie. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Mr. Stevens, I'm going to give you a quick couple of flowers as we wrap up this show. I'm sorry, y'all. Miss Margie has so much to say. Will you come back?
Yes, I do come back. I would love to come back. One of the things, if I can say, I would love, it was something that you asked was, how did we get here? And I said, I'm getting ready to start something. But we need to, and I'll be real quick.
No, go ahead.
Talk about how desegregating of the schools hurt our community and hurt us in the school system. And so I was going to say that, how did that hinder us? All we wanted was good books and get the same things that everyone else got. But I think when we desegregated the schools, we lost those teachers that taught us values and taught us pride within ourselves. And now we have two different sides of the railroad tracks in every school system. And every time they make a decision, it's always on the one side of the school system's tracks, but it doesn't help with the other side. And so, if you go out and you see the good houses and the nice schools that get the money, because the schools get money based on data from the state and from your testing. So if I have a lot of kids that's sitting in here that doesn't test well and they fail, those schools don't really get money. It all goes to the other ones. So, and I can go on, and I know we getting ready to cut it down, but I think that's one of the things that we definitely need to talk about. How did this segregating hinder us and hinder our village? Because it killed our village. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, Miss Margie. If you're willing to come back on, and you already agree, y'all heard her agree. Y'all hold her to it. Y'all, hey, once y'all see this show over and over again, because you will watch it over and over again, guaranteed. You will hear it over and over again. Y'all be on her and tell her to come back.
I'll come back. I will.
But seriously though, we're gonna start our next conversation with you from there.
Okay.
Because like you said, there's a lot for us to say, and I can't start because we'll be here another 5 hours.
There's so much.
But I'm not gonna guarantee a date very soon. Very, very soon. But we would love to have you back. And we will get deeper into those topics because, the thing is, we can do this all day.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for my co-host, Mr. Stevens. He was, out last week with a death in his family. But I'm going to tell y'all something about this guy while I'm giving out flowers. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. He pushed me beyond means that I never thought could be pushed. He's my sounding board, and I may be his as well. And I pretty much told him I wasn't going to do this show without him. I was going to do it, though, but I wasn't really going to do it without him. He looked at me probably like I was crazy over the phone, but I meant it. I was like, if I can't have you here to do this show, there's no reason to do this show.
Right.
That mean I've probably been beating the streets with a megaphone telling y'all this story, but we're here today. So I want to thank you, Mr. Stevens, because of that village that helped raise you, it also helped raise me. I'm thankful for because that village is getting ready to help raise a whole bunch of people. And now we got Miss Margie's village just coming along with us. So right now we're at 4 villages that's coming to help you all.
Yeah.
And by the time we get finished, we hope there's millions. Thank y'all for listening to us today. Miss Margie, is there any other thing that you want to put out? Maybe, I don't know if you want to put your social media out there, but your website to your organization, anything that they can send any donations to at this current time?
Yes, you can find me at www.margiemcleanfoundation.org. You can also follow me on Instagram and also Twitter and Facebook at Margie McLean Foundation. Also, we will host a lot of webinars as well. We have a webinar coming up February 21st on the importance of having a will, being that we have so many people who are passing and they're leaving with their work undone and not having things in order. That is going to be with Mr. Daryl Goldsmith. We also going to have a session on March 28th, a webinar about teen domestic violence. How should parents look for it? What does abuse look like? May 9th, I'll be hosting my annual Bundle of Joy community baby shower. So if you would like to donate, you can donate. You can email me at margiemcleanfoundation@gmail.com.
And we will pass the information along for you all as well through our website, www.ds4kinc.com. Our Facebook page, Do Something for the Kids Incorporated, as well as you can contact us through our website. If you want to get in touch with Miss Margie, if you happen to miss her handle, social media, email as well. Also, if you would like to donate to us, we have Cash Apps, DS4K INC, $ in front, $ as well, something for the number 4 DAKIDZ, as well at Cash App. Other than that, people, thank you for the day. Thank you, Miss Margie. Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Y'all have a great day and enjoy.